Hi, welcome to Green English Caping. In this video, I will introduce you to the 8 parts of speech and we will study them in detail in our upcoming videos, but for now this video is only an introduction to the 8 parts of speech in English. Now, what are parts of speech? Basically, words are divided into different categories according to the function they do in a particular sentence. These categories are nouns, pronouns, adjectives, verbs, adverbs, prepositions, conjunctions, and interjections. Notice here that each part of speech is represented with different colors. For example, if you look at the word noun, it is written with dark green color. Similarly, the pronoun is represented with light green. Now look at each part of speech and it has its own particular color. So it is important here to note that in this entire video or any other video of this series, we'll be using these colors to represent each part of speech in order to make it easier for you to identify their function in a sentence and understand them better. Before we go on to study parts of speech, let's consider this example first. Look at the word after. Now tell me, is it an adverb? Is it an adjective? Is it a preposition? Or a conjunction maybe? If you said yes to any of these questions, you are wrong. Confused? Well, don't be. Now let me tell you. The answer to all of these questions is, it's a word. Yes, you heard it correctly. It's a word and only a word. Okay, as I told you in the beginning of the lesson, that words are divided into different categories according to the function they do in a particular sentence. So if you see a word written just on its own, you cannot say for sure to which part of speech it belongs, unless it is used in a sentence, right? Okay, now let me give you some examples so that you can understand the concept. Let us use the word after in a few sentences and see its function. I went to the marketplace after breakfast. Here the word after is used as a preposition followed by a noun. He died in an accident and was buried the day after. Here the word after is used as an adverb without following a noun. Phil called me after you left for the bus station. Here the word after is used as a conjunction connecting two clauses. Now, remember this. For most words in English, you cannot say that they belong to a particular part of speech unless and until they are used in a sentence. However, there are many words which can be classified very easily as different parts of speech. For example, words ending in ation, dom, er, hood, in ism are all nouns. Words ending in al, ful, ive, and less are adjectives. But then again, there are some exceptions to even these rules because some adjectives may be used as nouns and some nouns may be functioning in a sentence like an adjective. Remember, to be on the safe side, when you see a word written on its own and somebody asks you which part of speech it is, you can simply tell them that it's just a word. But you cannot specify to which category it belongs unless it is used in a sentence. Now let's talk about our parts of speech. Parts of speech are 8 in number. The first one is noun. Nouns are the type of words that are often marked with an article, a pen, an umbrella, the gift. The type of word that can be pluralized, which means it may have a singular and a plural form and can have a possessive form as well. One pen, two pens, Carl's bike, Nida's slipper. The type of word that may be used as the subject of a sentence, as an indirect object, as a subject complement, as a direct object, or as an object to a preposition. By definition, a noun is a word which names a person, place, or thing. Or we can say a noun is a naming word. Examples: Solomon was a mighty warrior. Karachi is a populous city. The moon has many scars. The table has a broken leg. Pronoun. A pronoun is a word which is used instead of a noun in order to avoid a name repetition in a sentence. There are so many nouns in English language, but there are about 100 pronouns. The word that a pronoun refers back to is replaced with is called its antecedent. Remember, The main purpose of using pronoun is to avoid name repetition in a sentence and make that sentence clear and smooth. For example, consider this sentence. Martha and her sisters are traveling to Martha and her sister's uncle's house for vacation, and Martha and her sister's uncle are going to cook Martha, her sister's, and her uncle's favorite dinner. Did you get all that, or were you confused? What is wrong with this sentence? Actually, the nouns are repeated over and over again, and that's why it is difficult to understand the sentence. Now I want you to consider the same sentence with appropriate pronouns used. Martha and her sister are traveling to their uncle's house for vacation, and he is going to cook their favorite dinner. See, this is much easier to read and understand now. Remember, we use pronouns to avoid name repetition in a sentence. However, there are some pronouns which can be used like adjectives. Such pronouns are known as pronoun adjectives. Pronouns may be classified as possessive, personal, intensive, reflexive, relative, interrogative, demonstrative, indefinite, and reciprocal pronouns. But we won't deal with them here in detail because we don't want this video to become longer. Now, the next part of speech is verb. Verbs are of two types. Action verbs, also called dynamic, non-action verbs, also known as stative. Verbs have two definitions. A word which shows an action. It's a simple word, right? Action verb. A word which shows a state of being, possession, feelings, and need, thought and senses, etc. Action verbs will always involve movement and non-action verbs don't. Example of non-action verbs. Non-action verbs that express a state of being. Be, seem, appear, exist. That show possessions. Have, own, possess. That shows feelings and needs. Feel, like, love, hate, need, want, prefer, wish. Thought, think, believe, know, imagine, understand. Senses, see, hear, taste, smell. Note, you must remember both the definitions as you are going to need them. Otherwise, you will get confused. Example of action verbs. Kick, jump, shoot, slap, etc. Example of non-action verbs. Is, am, are, was, were, has, have, had, etc. Note, non-action verbs here given in the example are also called linking verbs or auxiliary verbs, but that's a topic for another day. Now, consider the following examples. The boy kicked the ball, action verb. He jumped off the plane, action verb. The police shot him in the leg as he tried to escape, action verb. Example for non-action verbs. This is an umbrella, non-action verb. They were terrified, non-action verb. The boy had a scar in him, non-action verb. The dog appears dead, non-action verb. This seems nice to me, non-action verb. Notice, one way to tell the difference between action verbs and non-action verbs is to try to change them into the passive voice. If you can change the sentence into a passive voice, it must have at least one action verb. And if you can't change it into the passive voice, then there must be a non-action verb involved. For example, the boy kicked the ball, active voice. Action verb, kicked. The ball was kicked by the boy, passive voice. The dog seems dead, active voice, non-action verb. Here you can see you cannot change this sentence into the passive voice. Note, some verbs may be followed by words that look like prepositions. However, they are not prepositions. They are so closely associated with those verbs that they become part of their meanings. These words are known as particles, and such verbs are called phrasal verbs. Some of these common verb particle combinations include verbs like bring up, drop off, look up, take off. Adjectives. An adjective is a word which describes a noun or a pronoun. Adjectives may answer one of these questions. Which one? What kind of? How many? The black cat. Which cat? The one that has a black color. The new bike. What kind of bike? The one that is new. Some students. How many students? Now, adjectives may appear in a sentence just before the noun it describes. A young man. A ferocious tiger. However, adjectives may be used after linking verbs that describe the subject. For example, the tank is empty. The girl is attractive. The definite and indefinite articles are also called adjectives. They are a special type of adjectives known as determiners. Note: now, one thing which is extremely important here and you should remember is that the adjectives are basically of two types: attributive adjectives and predicative adjectives. Attributive adjectives are those adjectives that usually come before the noun. Predicative adjective is an adjective which usually comes after a linking verb rather than before a noun. Another term for predicative adjective is a subject complement. Note: some adjectives can be used attributively and also predicatively as well. Example: he has a red car, attributive adjective. His car is red, predicative adjective. Kareem lives in a big house. He is a reckless driver. Adverb definition. An adverb is a word which tells us something about a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. Note: adverbs normally tell us about how, when, where, why, under what condition, how much, and with what frequency something happens. Adverbs may appear anywhere in a sentence, in the beginning, in the middle, or at the end. Example of an adverb qualifying a verb: she walks impressively. The accident occurred suddenly. The word impressively is an adverb. It is describing the word walks, which is a verb. And in the second example, the word suddenly is an adverb. It qualifies the word occurred, which is a verb. Example of an adverb qualifying an adjective: she is pretty. The word pretty in this example is an adjective because it describes the pronoun she. She is very pretty. Here, in this example, the word very is an adverb because it tells us something about the word pretty, which is an adjective. Example of an adverb qualifying another adverb: he entered the examination hall arrogantly. The word arrogantly in this example is an adverb which modifies the meaning of the word enter, which is a verb. Now that we know that the word arrogantly is an adverb, now let's consider this example. He entered the examination hall quite arrogantly. In this particular example, the word quiet is an adverb which modifies the meaning of the word arrogantly, which is also an adverb. So we know that an adverb is a word which tells us something about a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. Preposition. A preposition is a word which is used before a noun or a pronoun to show its relation with other parts of speech in a sentence. A preposition may form a phrase modifying another word in the sentence, and such a prepositional phrase may function as an adjective or as an adverb. Here is a list of words commonly used as prepositions. Note: a preposition always comes before a noun or a pronoun, and that noun or pronoun is called the object of the preposition. Example: the girl jumped off the car. In this sentence, the word off is a preposition, and the word car is its object. It indicates the relationship of the car with the girl. Fish cannot live without water. In this example, the word without is a preposition and the word water is its object, and it indicates the relationship of the word water with the word fish. Here, the preposition indicates the relationship between the two nouns. She sang well in the concert. Here, the word in is a preposition and the word concert is its object. It's a noun. It indicates the relationship between the country and the pronoun she. Now, conjunctions. A conjunction is a word which joins together words, phrases, or clauses. Note, here it is necessary that you should know that there are two types of conjunctions: coordinating conjunctions and subordinating conjunctions. We will deal with them later on in detail. Coordinating conjunctions are for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. One way to remember them is to memorize the acronym fanboys. Example: 2 and 2 make 4. Be just and kind to everyone. He hopes to win the first prize, but he is too lazy to strive for it. Subordinating conjunctions are when, until, although, since, unless, if, because, how, as if, etc. etc. Example: my dog jumped up when the doorbell rang. His grandfather died before he was born. Interjection. An interjection is a word which is used to express some sudden emotions such as surprise, hatred, happiness, or sadness. Examples: a loss. He had an accident and died. Bingo! I finally solved it. And that was our today's lesson. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't hesitate to smash that like button and also press the bell icon to get the latest updates of our new video. And please let me know in the comment section about your suggestions and opinions. Thanks for watching. Goodbye and see you again.